There are some Bible verses that when we read them, they just make us feel so good. And one of those passages is Ezekiel 47, where the prophet Ezekiel had a vision of a river flowing from the temple. Now in this vision, Ezekiel saw water flowing out from under the threshold of the temple. The water was coming from the right side of the temple, and it was flowing down to the ground level. And as he looked, the water became a stream, and then the stream became a river, and the river was getting deeper and deeper as it flowed down to the ground. And then Ezekiel saw all kinds of living things that were being created because of this river. On the banks of the river, there were trees that had leaves that never withered. They were an everlasting tree, whose leaves were for the healing of the nations. So what does this passage mean? Well, there's a lot of different ways to interpret this passage. But I want to share with you 3 truths that I believe the Holy Spirit wants us to see from this passage. No one healing flows from the temple. In the Old Testament, the temple was a place where people would go to encounter God and experience His presence. It was a place of worship and a place of healing. And in this vision, Ezekiel saw that healing flows from the temple. Now in the New Testament, we see that Jesus is our temple. Jesus is the one who cleanses us and heals us. So if we want to experience healing in our lives, we need to spend time in the presence of Jesus, because that's where healing flows from. No. 2, this healing water becomes a river. The water that flowed from the temple didn't stay a small stream. It became a mighty river. And this teaches us that the power of God to heal is limitless. There's no boundaries to the power of God to save and to heal. If we agree with God that He has the power to heal, then we can receive our healing. No. 3, the river brings life, and the leaves are for healing. The river that flowed from the temple brought life wherever it went. And on its banks were trees whose leaves were for healing. And this teaches us that when we walk with God, we become like trees that bring forth their fruit in season, whose leaves also shall not wither. We become fruitful, and we become healers. When we walk in an intimate relationship with God, I pray that you will receive your healing as you walk with God, and that you will become a healer, bringing God's presence and power to those around you.